distance and time, we're looking at conversions. So just a little set of steps to help you convert, because you'll remember that we said our speed can be measured in meters per second and kilometers per hour. If it's kilometers per hour, then our distance is kilometers and our time is hours. If it's meters per second, our distance is meters and our time is seconds. So our speed, distance and time units all have to match up, and sometimes to solve a problem that means that we'll have to convert. So a little conversion table is useful. If I've got a value in seconds and I want to change it to minutes, there's 60 seconds in a minute, and a minute is a larger chunk of time, so there'll be less of them, fewer of them, so we divide by 60. Minutes to hours, it's the same thing. Divide by 60. Going back the other way, we do the opposite. Times by 60. So if I've got 1 hour and I want to know what that is in minutes, 1 times 60, 60 minutes. So it works. And it's the opposite here as well, times by 60. If you want to go from seconds all the way to hours, you can do that too. You'd do, well, let's go back this way, you'd do times by 60 and times by 60 again, and that all works out to times by 3,600. And it's the opposite to go back the other way. Divide by 3,600. So you can convert seconds into minutes or seconds into hours or minutes into hours all the way, any combination you need. Distance is much easier, meters and kilometers. There's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So you can see if I had 1 kilometer, to go to meters, I'd times by 1,000, and that means to go from meters to kilometers, I would do the opposite. I'd divide by 1,000. Now, meters per second and kilometers per hour, converting speed, you can convert it all separately, but there is a shortcut. Kilometers per hour back to meters per second, divide by, I should have put them in the same order, I'm sorry. Divide by 3.6, meters per second to kilometers per hour, do the opposite, times by 3.6. So if you need to convert speeds, we can use that one. So some example situations where we might need this. A kangaroo jumps at 48 kilometers per hour. How far will it travel in 15 minutes? So of course, first up we use our speed, distance, time triangle. We want to know, we've got its speed, we've got its time, how far we want the distance. So we get our speed, distance, time triangle, we cover up distance, and we discover that speed times time, because they're next to each other. So we write our formula of distance equals speed times time. But we check our speed is in kilometers per hour, our distance will work out in kilometers, but our time needs to be in hours. So over here, 15 minutes, we need to work out 15 minutes and change it to hours. So we'll divide by 60 to go from minutes to hours. 15 divided by 60 in hours. So when we put that in, or of course you could be very clever and know that 15 minutes is 1/4 of an hour, which is just 15 over 60 simplified. So if we check with our calculator when we simplify a fraction, 15 over 60, that's 1/4 of an hour. So you could use this fraction or you could use 1/4. Distance is speed times time. Speed was 48. We don't put units into our working line, only into our answer. Our time was 1/4. So I want 48 times, 48 times, as a fraction, 1/4, and that is 12. And because we were finding distance, it's going to be the distance value, and because we had kilometers in the speed, that's going to be 12 kilometers. If we wanted to find its speed in meters per second instead of kilometers per hour, that's a conversion of speed. And to go from kilometers per hour to meters per second, we divide by 3.6. So it's speed of 48 divided by 3.6. .3 meters per second. So that's just how we convert between the speeds. Or of course you can use an online converter like Google, which will work your answer out as well.